Hey, do you think there's a patent on the arm wave? What, $2 a wave? Okay, bill me the 16. I saw Lanky Kong do it in Donkey Kong 64. That dude's got moves, and if someone did patent that, billionaire at this point. Almost 20 years ago, coming up this week, there's a game that really showed me the depths of the world of remixing, and it's called Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. I was talking to the community Discord just a while back about it. What you're hearing now is the bonus mode music from Wrecking Crew. And then now what you're hearing is the remix they did in this game. So I've heard remixes before, 20 years ago, at the age of 10. I heard remixes in Super Smash Bros. Melee. But I didn't hear that many remixes leading into this game. At that point, it's a lot of great original music on my Nintendo consoles. But once this game came out, it opened my eyes to the depths that remixes will go, where they'll go. And what you're hearing right now, the remix called Destruction Dance, it takes this awesome iconic 8-bit song. On the NES they only had 4 instruments, and now we're adding like a samba like piano. We're adding great instrumentation just surrounding the piece. I love the sound effects they add to it. The main melody riff is still there, but they adding a lot more to it being more like a dance song. But the essence of the song is still there. And remixing, what this game did, first off, I wish it had, back in 2005, I wish there was, some form of soundtrack that you could buy ASAP. Because hearing the Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3 themes remixed like this was incredible, like the overworld themes. And what I'm gonna do is, so every week I always, give credit to the music that I use. What I'm gonna do for this one is I'm gonna link the originals. So all the music you're hearing, aside from the very first song, are from this game. And so I'm going to link all the originals that they are remixes of, so that people can really hear how much work was put into, remixing these songs. And I think the idea for a good remix is that you keep the core essence alive, but just like a great guitarist at a concert, improvising a new solo within the key signature or within just the soul of the song is awesome. It's just a good, in general, rule of thumb as a musician. And honestly, the more I got into remixing, thanks to this game did a big part in that. The more I got into it, the more I realized that as a composer, it's important to be a good remixer as well. I think vice versa. And I've realized that with the remixes I have made over the years, it's helped me become a better composer. In the case of it's just good practice, but it's also, you dive into the artistic perspectives of another composer. And, if people are asking me how do I become a composer, I'm always going to say also, practice remixing. Practice remixing, not just from changing the decibels on a song, like actually getting in there. I mean, you can change the decibels on a song. Sometimes, that actually could be a job you're paid for, is sometimes someone didn't engineer a song properly. And so now you have to decrease the decibels. But when it comes to remixing, getting into the nitty gritty, opening up, Ableton, Pro Tools, Logic, and looking at the spreadsheet, the score of what they wrote, and then being able to remix it, redo it for a new type of objective. It's a lot of fun. That objective could be aligned with still make a great song, but now you're implementing a new spin on it, a new twist, something of a different perspective while keeping the soul of the song there. It's really cool when you hear jazz remixes or rock remixes of songs that weren't originally jazz or rock. And also, but in turn, there are things like Metroid Metal, the band Stemmage. They covered a lot of Metroid songs. And I think it was because of them that they made a lot of people realize that a lot of Metroid music is naturally in key signatures that tend to show up in metal music. One of my favorite Metroid songs is Brinstar Depths from the original game. I love the remix they did in Melee, I love the remix they did in Ultimate, and it was really cool to hear Stemage cover that. They call it Kraid because that is the area where you fight Kraid as a boss, and honestly, it would have been cool to play Metroid Dread with that surprise Kraid boss and just have the Metroid Metal version of his theme playing. I think that, could have been a lot for like adding an intense atmosphere. Not that his boss theme is bad in Metroid Dread, I just think would be a really fun opportunity, at least as some alternative thing when you replay the game. So with remixing, you really do start understanding the other perspectives of composers. It's like when you draw another person's character. You're a character designer, at an industry, a game industry, and they're saying, hey, we're bringing this guy back. Could you make some artwork for it? And here's the design aesthetic for the new game. We want his design to, obviously align with that, but stay true to the character. It adds this really cool experience for so many artists where they understand, one, the original idea of the character designer, their type of, unique signature, because as artists, we all have something distinct about us. Whether you do music or drawing or you're an actor, you have a signature. So by remixing, you're starting to delve more into what their signature is while adding your own. And DDR Mario Mix did an awesome job at taking all these songs again from Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, Mario Kart Double Dash, Mario Party 5, Dr. Mario. And they added really awesome takes on it. With the whole, the anchor purpose of, dancing. Dance Dance Revolution was, really big in the 2000s. I still have my dance pad, and it's fun to just, look at that Nintendo was willing to do that. I wish Nintendo would do that more. I think it's cool when Nintendo is willing to lend out their IPs to other companies, and they trust them. And I think that's what competent remixing is you look around for talented musicians, and you're like, hey, I liked the Super Mario Bros. 3 theme. Could you remix that for our dance game, right? And, they killed it. And I think it's kind of a form of artistic communication when we do remixing, when we do slight versions of design changes, right? More like design, a new design update, right? Like a latest iteration. But regardless, when you look at someone else's work like that, and now you're assigned to remix that work, it's a lot of fun. But there's also that, if you want to respect the artist and the composer, you want to definitely understand the soul of the project, the soul of the piece. And it's just crazy to me that this game that came out, which again, I always wanted to play DDR, but I grew up playing Nintendo, but DDR comes out on Nintendo GameCube. I'm so excited. I just liked playing it because I'm a big Mario fan, and DDR looked cool, right? So I buy the game, or, my parents do, thank you for the gift, and I was just blown away. I was blown away by learning how far remixes can go. Because again, the ones in Melee and 64 are amazing, and I think my childhood brain was used to that being, it's so one for one with the game soundtrack. Like when they remixed Saria's song in Melee, they had an orchestra do it. And it was pretty aligned with how it sounds in Ocarina of Time, which isn't a bad thing, it's an amazing song. So there's that beauty of retranslating it with new instruments. But then DDR Mario Mix had some of the most bold, completely different, genre-changing type remixes I've ever heard leading into that. And it really helped me understanding that there's so many different ways that a song can be remixed and redone with a different lens when it comes to genre, when it comes to purpose. And so, going through music school, getting a degree in audio engineering, I'm so grateful that we had so many tasks when it came to editing sound. My final senior thesis was about the importance of, video game music in games and how much it adds to the atmosphere and player experience. My first semester project was, creating an album. The album was on original music that was in the template of other games. So I made my own original Pokemon songs, I made my own original Zelda song, but that really was when a lot of the remixing experience came into play. I sat there and I'm like, when I'm writing these, I was pondering about, okay, well, this needs to be my original, melody and all this. I was like, but if I'm gonna make this sound like Zelda, what's the soul there? And I thought about past remixes and songs and what adds to the consistency of how Zelda is portrayed, right? And that's its own debate because there's so many different Zelda games. But that's the fun part about being an artist, is whether you're composing original music or you're starting to remix and understand how composers work even more. There's just always opportunities to broaden your perspective, broaden your horizon. And you do not have to be a composer for this. You can turn on DDR Mario Mix. You can go listen to some of the songs right now. And you're already going to be listening to, whoa, this person took Koji Kondo's work and made dance remixes out of it. Like, listen to the way that they changed the tempo, listen to the way they added instrumentation, did a lot of bold things to it, and Nintendo was okay with that, and that's cool. I like when there's a form of trust and obviously a form of professional polish. I think with that form of trust, you can start forming bridges with a lot more artistic opportunities for people to discover and love. I love DDR Mario Mix, and I love Mondays too.